because I wasn't sure where all this is going, and, you know, my support of this organization anymore and what they're trying to achieve, big picture. But I'm also, I'm kind of torn, I have to tell you, I'm on the fence.
I mean, if you're in favor of getting out of the United Nations, start a grassroots thing right now, put a vote, call your congressman, let him know, and do that instead of this. I don't care, you know?
No, I know, I'm just saying where I'm at. At this point, I'm probably gonna vote in favor of it, because of all the good things that it is trying to accomplish.
Anyone else changing their mind?
No.
Okay.
Oh, can I ask another question? So we approve this proclamation, what happens? Who's doing what?
We send it to whoever's asked us to endorse the proclamation, and
They can
they
feel
do whatever
good
they
about
want with it.
themselves.
So,
And I think it's
It
gonna
does absolutely
be
nothing
noted
every year.
somewhere at the state level, you know, as far as,
They should just do it instead of asking us.
United Nations Association of Greater
Proclamation.
Boston.
Yeah, that's where it
Says
goes.
what they
Yeah.
wanna do.
Well, it makes me wonder
And
what
then
the
there's
motive is.
there's an event at the State House, and, you know, so many cities and towns will do it.
Well, okay, so is that's what, all right. Should have probably asked this question last year, so.
Did we do this last
I
year?
don't remember.
I don't remember doing this last year.
Remember anything from you when it comes in.
Mr. Prisco,
Mr. Chairman, I
I'm
move
getting
to
rather global this evening.
I move to proclaim October 24th, 2011 as United Nations Day and to read the attached proclamation. I really have to read it all, huh?
no.
No,
No.
only if you vote for it.
To,
Only if you vote for it.
So you may change your vote.
And then once it's
It's
enacted, you read the proclamation, that's what we proclaimed.
Should have asked that question too before you decided to give your vote.
I want to do the right thing. All right, I'd rather.
Oh, are you suggesting that those voting
I'm not saying
against
you're
you are
right.
different than you are doing the wrong thing? You
uh,
want to go down that road?
you read the motion. Do I hear a second?
Yeah, second.
Second, Mr. O'Leary. On the motion, further discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Aye. Or no?
And I'm going to abstain.
One abstain.
What? Get off the
Oh.
fence!
I didn't hear what Jeff do.
I said, I
He said
meant
no.
no.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
You-
Let's
After
do it
all
much
that,
louder.
if I give Jeff a hard time about speaking one
That's-
thing and voting differently, I have to give it to you.
That's right.
You know why? Because I am going to pick up the phone tomorrow and I'm going to call some people over there and understand why we get this sent to us every year. I need to understand the rationale behind it because it's just,
Pretty good.
doesn't.
Well, there's a motive
Well,
behind it, that's
They-
all.
I agree with Mr. Delaney. They should just do this. What do they need the town and our
Because it's
leadership
support,
to-
it's documented support.
And you want
You
it to come
I
down
know
to the
that.
local level, you
But
don't
it's still
just necessarily
documented
want
They
your,
want. Well, we
your,
could
your
I'd like to have-
co-representatives who may
Okay,
not be representing you well.
Mr. Prisco, we have the minutes
give
of September
objective input
26,
and then make my decision.
2011.
Mr. Chairman, I move.
I think we were drinking at 6 o'clock.
Well, we couldn't, we were here.
Mr. Chairman, I move
You
to
know, pretty soon
approve.
there'll be happy hours though, so that'll be a good thing.
I move to approve the September 26, 2011 regular session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Is there any discussion?
Which one is this?
26, regular session.
Yeah, yes, the regular session, I think, nope, that's the wrong one, sorry.
Okay. On the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. We have the executive session of the 26th.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the September 26, 2011 executive session minutes as written.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Any discussion? Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. October 3rd, regular session.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the October 3rd, 2011 regular session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Prisco, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Any discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Old and new business. I'm gonna start with just a couple of things because I think it requires some discussion. That is, our next scheduled meeting is the work session next Tuesday, couple discussions with Greg associated with, starting with kind of a quick review with where we were with our goals and objectives, and discuss whether there's some additional amendments we want to make to it, and then kind of focus on what we're trying to get done over this next year. Anyone else has any other thoughts? Because I want to get an agenda kind of laid out for that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's the way to proceed.
No, I think that's really important discussion, just a quick overview.
And we'll be looking at the school project and some of the other things, the wastewater,
Yeah, and
things that,
And I think at the workshop, we have to have discussion as a committee over how we feel about it. Now that, what we've recently learned, I mean, we have learned a lot in a very short.
So we came up with the school project
School
specifically.
project, yeah, and I think that has to play in our whole priorities going forward. 'Cause I think we voted on some priorities last year.
Yep.
May have
so,
to
I kind of like to say, look at, based on what we put out, what have we accomplished, where are we with it? And then what
We-
adjustments we might want to make, and then kind of lay out what we want to get accomplished this year.
Yeah, and I think following our workshop, we wrote up an executive summary of basically our goals and where we're going with it. I think we would have an update, and I would suggest that we try to walk away from that meeting with who's gonna do what, and get that out as well. I'm also willing to volunteer to help you, Greg, prepare anything for that meeting. I know it's, you got a lot on your plate, and I have a lot of the presentations electronically.
That'd be great.
So if you want, I can
Thank
swing
you.
by your office and
Sure.
go through it with you.
That meeting will start at 6 o'clock. It'll be over at the Hillview Commission meeting room. We've held them before.
Well, do we need I have a projector, do you need me to bring it for that night, or is there one over there?
No, there's not one there.
I can bring it,
Well, the town hall has one.
that's fine.
Work it out with Greg.
All right.
Yours is compact, right, Mike?
Second is, November 7th would be our normal regular meeting. Mike isn't going to be there, I understand, and I am going to be flying in from Seattle around 5:30 that evening, and we were talking earlier about maybe meeting on that Thursday instead. Is everybody
Yeah,
okay with that?
got it down.
Yeah.
So it'll be November 10th.
It'll be November 10th instead of November 7th. Then our second meeting that month is
Is it gonna work for you, Greg?
21st.
Sure does.
21st.
21st. Okay, with that then, Steve?
Just one thing, we had some correspondence in our packet today from a local resident who's been a long-time public servant, Jimmy Pothier, who's tendered his resignation to the Cull Fire Department. Been on there for 34 years. And it's actually a fixture down there for a number of years, but, his job responsibilities have changed, and his time commitment to the department, he's unable to meet the requirements now, so he's tendered his resignation to the acting chief, and I think it's important to recognize Jimmy's service to the community, not just in this capacity, but in other capacities, and he's been on the water board, he's been on a couple other appointed committees, and very active in the community. So I just want to personally thank Jimmy for his 34 years. Sorry to see that he's finding it necessary to resign his position, and I think the board should send a note of appreciation or a citation recognizing his 34 years of service to the Cull Fire Department. On that, nothing else, Mr. Chairman.
That's it?
That's it.
Kristen?
No, I just wanna send another congratulations to Sergeant Mike Murphy for being chosen for the new chief. I think, Greg, you made a great decision. I look forward to his new leadership coming in and getting started. Also, Halloween right around the corner, so, please make sure folks remember, drive carefully, be careful. That's it.
Sean?
I too want to publicly congratulate Mike Murphy and TA selection of him for the next police chief here in North Reading. I also want to thank Sergeant Larry Tremblay for stepping up, putting his name in for consideration, and as the TA had mentioned earlier in the evening, that both candidates, Murphy and Tremblay, scored very highly on the assessment center So I applaud both candidates, and I look forward to working with the new Chief Murphy in the near future. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Jeffrey?
Yes, I have a few things here. The Obama administration's American Jobs Act, if it passes, the state is capable of receiving $378 million for for our schools, for the building of schools. That's if it passes. So I'm bringing that up to see if that when you have your discussions with the school committee and the, what's it called, the advisory committee with all the leaders?
Financial planning team?
Financial planning, thank you. I don't know, maybe you can bring that up and keep that tucked in to your thoughts, because I don't know if this is going to pass or when, and if it does, how soon those funds would be ready, hopefully for what we're doing with our schools. It might be too late, I don't know, but it's something to keep in the bank. We talk about affordable housing, and something that I read in the paper, which I thought was interesting. You know, it's always that equation that they have generated by the state, and you're never sure what the numbers really mean. And I didn't realize that places like the Starlight, the
Mobile home parks?
mobile home parks are not included in the equation, and it would seem that they should be. Okay, and that's a problem. I think there's a push to get that included in the equation. I don't know if it's been going on for years or not, but it should be, because that would help us. Probably would put us very much in compliance on the 40B. Right? The other thing is the town of Webster decided to, and I'm not recommending this, so I think it should be looked at, though, that they are not including the cost for plowing the churches within the community in their costs. So they're going to have, the churches are now going to have to pay to have their parking lots plowed. We do it, and it's probably a good idea, and it's probably for good reasons. But I remember a couple of years ago, there was a lot of flack within the town of North Reading about why our costs were so high. Why were we doing the churches, or not just the church, I should say any religious service, their parking lots with our trucks sitting there idling in their parking lot. So people got concerned about that, and there was a big uproar about 2 years, maybe 3 years ago, about that and the cost it has on us. And I believe it's done on overtime, from what I understand. This is before Dick Carnival's time. It's my thinking that there are trade-offs here, and there are benefits to doing that. You know, one hand washing the other scenario. And I think that we should have a handle on it to be able to answer to the community that this is a good thing, because we work closely with the religious organizations. And so therefore there's a benefit. There's a benefit and a trade-off. So I think we need to have a handle on that. And I would suggest to the board that we get a handle on that and do a little bit of a study and find out, how it's benefiting the town. Because I believe it is. I believe it does, overall. So I don't know what the feeling is of anybody on the board getting a handle on something like that.
I don't think there's anything to get a handle
I think there's a need. I don't see a need.
I don't think, I've never heard anyone on this board ever complain about it.
Oh, well, I'm not talking about the board, I'm talking about the community. I mean, I would go back 3 years, and it was pretty big. Everyone was complaining about the scraping of the sidewalks, the cost of the snow